This is a disclaimer. The Other Three podcast may contain uncensored content. Before listening, please relocate or dispose of all small children. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Other Three podcast.
I'm Nikos.
I'm Kavika.
And I'm Gannon.
Today we'll be talking about Knives Out. Count with me now, everybody. One, two, three, and off we go. As usual, we're going to start with today's speedy reviewer, which is Gannon.
That's me.
Let me get that timer ready.
Are you sure? You sure you want to do that?
Yes?
I don't know.
All right, let's go.
Alrighty, okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so the movie Knives Out is a mystery film based off of a really rich family and who's the dad of most people in the family just died, and they're all trying to figure out how he died, why he died. Very early on in the movie, we find out who the killer is. I'm not going to spoil it, though. And then you pretty much go on an adventure with the person who we think killed the man and her way to escape it because he doesn't feel like it's her fault. So it's a really interesting movie with lots of twists and turns, really good acting. Did I finish my time? Did I do it good?
You have 23 seconds.
That's really bad. Okay, so this film it really bases off the premise of the novelist who does a lot of writing a mystery novel. So he's really living his own at this point, and it's really interesting how it comes full circle like that. And the family is just a bunch of rude people, a bunch of jerks pretty much, so everyone's a suspect at all times.
Gonna have to stop you right there. That's the end of our speedy review, 60-second speedy review. All right, so general discussion. What do we like about the movie? I thought the acting was really good. I don't know what sort of tactics they used, but considering that every person was able to act like they didn't know who the killer was, even though they might have, I thought that was really interesting and really great on the actor's part.
Yeah, there were definitely some A-list actors that were there, which is probably a lot of why they were chosen, because I feel like everyone just portrayed their roles very well, whether they were the old man who was coming to terms with his own death, or the innocent girl who felt that she wasn't innocent, but like she played that role very well. Or Chris Evans, who was kind of the trashy, rude guy. He was that very well, which I think was interesting because, I mean, most people know him for his
Captain
role as
America,
Captain
yeah.
America, yay patriotism, good guy. But
Not even cussing.
Yeah. But he said a couple of bad words.
He said a couple of bad words, and I was shocked.
And then I sort of needed to pull up the Captain America meme. Language.
Language, yeah. Anytime Chris Evans is on screen swearing. Language. It was definitely very interesting, though, just seeing how that emotion could be portrayed. Because, I mean, I do a level of acting myself, but that's just like, wow. They did a great job.
They did really good like acting within their acting, which is something I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even really think about that, the layers to it, because they're actors who are acting as people who are acting like they're innocent.
Yeah, it's really interesting and strange how
A lot of
they're
acting.
able to
There's a
stay-
lot of acting involved in this movie. That was weird.
They're able to stay in character in a way to where they stay in character and they're still acting as that character as if they were acting, which is lots of layers, lots of things to...
And I'm sure that also comes with just the time. Like, I don't know how long production of this movie was, but they obviously had multiple shots. But even to get to a point across multiple shots where they were able to portray that so well is still pretty impressive.
I think the way they revealed information in the movie was also really good. It was very slow at first, like any good mystery movie should be. It always leads you on to think you know something, but then sort of the other guy knows 3 more things than you thought you knew, and it's always really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Something that I noticed with mystery movies is some of them, they just leave me confused. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. I need answers. But I really like how Knives Out, it made it feel like it was giving you answers. But it just wasn't. It was lying to you the whole time. So you feel like you know what's going on. And you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, I'm piecing this together. And then boom, boom, boom. No, you don't.
You know, speaking of not knowing what's going on, that's a perfect segue into our segment, I Don't Know What's Going On. Today we have a special guest, Carson Moonowens. So,
Good day.
how are you doing?
I'm doing fairly well. We're working on robotics projects, and I was wrenched from reality, and I'm placed here now.
Great. Yeah, that sounds about right.
We stole you, it's true. Blink twice if you need help.
Is there food here?
We have Kavika.
Moving on. I'm just joking. Let's start with Gannon. Gannon, give Carson one question
Okay.
that you'd like him to
Who's
answer.
your favorite character in this movie?
My favorite character was definitely Daniel Craig. You know, he playing himself, really good insight into the acting process and how some people can go too far in their possibilities.
That's a very good insight.
I think you're the first person to ask for a list of characters to
Yeah.
choose from.
Who was the murderer?
I believe it was himself. It was a suicide caused, of course, by acute fungal depression.
Oh,
That's pretty close. That's pretty good.
Interesting.
What's your favorite line from the movie?
Yeah, there were lots of funny lines. What's your favorite?
I think my favorite one was towards the end when the Chris Evans character said, "You know, this all could have been avoided if we simply hadn't kept our knives out."
Yeah,
That was a
that's-
great line.
That
I
was a
love
great
that
line
line.
that was very much in the movie.
Yeah, very much so.
We were talking a lot about the acting. Who do you think, besides Chris Evans, who we mentioned by name, who do you think was the strongest actor in the movie?
You know, I think I'll go with Ian McKellen. Did a very good job playing a mentor role in the first couple pieces. Then, unfortunately, he had to go and fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
that's
yes.
too bad.
I do remember the battle scene.
So many fight scenes.
I mean, they
Short
had
5-minute
knives out
little
and
scene.
everything.
Yeah, now we got our basic questions. What was your favorite thing about the movie?
You know, I think the best part about it was the fact that they shot on 35mm film, then they scanned it digitally, re-negatived on more film, then they scanned that digitally, and then finally dunked it in 17 chemicals. Really produced quite the aesthetic.
All right, and least favorite.
My least favorite part, I think, was the ending, because they just cutting it out, really? We've been waiting for so long, there have been announcements, and then they just cut it out right before we see what happens. You know, it's almost reminiscent of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Any other questions over there on that side?
I mean, no, not really. I think you covered most of them.
Yeah, I think you covered. You got it. I don't know.
It's like-
And that brings us to things we didn't like, but I don't know. I liked a lot about the movie.
Well, Carson, we had to kind of dispose of him. He's taped up now, so you won't be hearing from him. Very much.
Hey, we said we wouldn't be hearing from you. Come on, quiet down. Quiet down a bit.
It's okay. We might see him another day.
He's okay.
He's just fine. So yeah, things that we didn't like about the film. I agree, Kavika. It was just overall quite good.
Yeah.
Let me think. What did I not like? What did I think was not
bad?
good?
I don't know.
I think just everything. We secretly think everything is bad. No.
Some of the pacing of it was slightly odd at times, I guess. But I mean, it was a really good movie. It won awards for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I missed like some middle section of it, but like I know what went on. Like even the parts I missed, it was very paced very well, to where it was still slowly feeding you information without like making you think, oh, you got all figured out, and I'm gonna turn it off now.
Yeah, the only real qualm I had with the movie was like she threw up every time she lied.
Yeah, I was literally about to
I
say
just
that.
wanted the science behind that.
I get that, and I get that it was a relevant plot point, but it was kind of gross. I mean, she literally vomited just on Chris Evans.
Poor Chris Evans. I would have grabbed a knife too.
Knife.
Yeah, a doop 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 knife.
A doop 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 knife.
This is why you put away your small
This
children.
is an audio podcast. No one knows what a doop 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 knife is.
I was kind of smacking my hand against my palm to simulate a knife retracting rather than going through.
A dull knife retracting. Yeah.
A dull knife retracting.
Yeah, it's not a scary knife.
There was a lot of knives. I get why it was called Knives Out, because he took the knife out, and then he tried to put the knife in, but the knife was out.
Oh.
That's good.
You know, it's like Rosebud.
Oh yeah, Rosebud.
Knives Out, Rosebud.
You know, it's actually
Two
pretty-
syllables.
It's actually pretty interesting because the person who was the murderer, I did think was the murderer in the beginning, but then they led me on to think it wasn't.
I know, it really was just a roller coaster.
Yeah, roller coaster. Well, I think that's all for today. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Other Three Podcast. Always remember, don't worry about the other two.